Hi, everybody. In this video, I'm going to be finding out about a decentralized, censorship-resistant stablecoin.
Using Wi-Fi without NordVPN could mean sharing your private stuff with more people than you think. NordVPN. Online security starts with a click.
Tokenmetrics is a cryptocurrency investment platform that helps users leverage machine learning to become better crypto investors. Our in-depth analysis helps eliminate the emotions of investing, find profitable investment opportunities, and filters out scams.
Now, before I introduce my guest, please subscribe, follow me on Twitter, CryptoRichYT, join my official Telegram announcements channel. And if you're watching this on YouTube, stop it. Come over and support me on bit.ly/CryptoRich3Speak, bit.ly/CryptoRichOdyssee. And you can't see it there, but bit.ly/CryptoRichRumble. Hey, Matt, thank you so much for making yourself available. It has been too long since you came on and we chatted.
It always is. It always is.
Always.
But it's nice in many ways because so many things happen in the world and so many things change.
Yes.
We've always got a lot to talk about, which means our videos are always either too long or we cram too much information for the same video.
Indeed.
That's cool.
You are one of the team at Speak Network, which is a decentralized.
Cloud storage.
Decentralized cloud storage using Hive, which is a fork of Steemit, which I don't think anybody cares about anymore. Right? It's just probably a dead.
Well, I do because it gives us free speech. I mean, it's the only thing in crypto that actually gives us free speech to where you don't have to pay a massive base layer fee.
Yeah,
so I think it's very important.
3SPEAK is fully SpeakNet. 3SPEAK is, how am I going to say this? What's the relationship between Speak Network and 3SPEAK?
3SPEAK's just a video platform that runs on top of the Speak Network and Hive.
Right.
And the Speak Network allows the community to be incentivized for running the infrastructure of 3SPEAK, so we don't need to run the infrastructure, which means it's actually decentralized. Yeah. And it also allows us to incentivize our users for backing up our content, so we don't need to store our content either. So it's using proper decentralized tech to do that, basically.
Yep, fully decentralized, unlike ODYSEE and unlike Rumble. Rumble is centralized and ODYSEE is hybrid, part decentralized, part centralized, which is how come the SEC were able to find them. But with 3SPEAK and Speak Network, there's no organization behind it. There's just independent people working on the open source technology, and it's very, very fast. And you were talking about a stable coin that's decentralized. That's what we're going to talk about. It's decentralized stable coin that's censorship resistant. But I think we should break that apart, those phrases apart, so people know what it is.
Yeah. I mean, it's an interesting time at the moment in crypto. We're obviously still working on 3SPEAK and the Speak Network to make those come to fruition. 3SPEAK's got a big update coming out soon, so I'm really excited about that. It's going to allow uploads to be even more smooth than they are now. So it's going to be really cool. And Speak Network's just gone into testnet about 2 months ago, so we've got another few months of testnet to go before we kind of go live and be like, yeah, we're actually allowing people to. What we want to get to a point to with that is go anywhere on the internet. And if you see a piece of content that looks like it's going to be deleted, you can click drop down for plugin and upload to the Speak Network to preserve it.
Wow.
That's where we're going to get to very soon. So we're going to be able to preserve the internet properly this time without centralized infrastructure by the community for the community, and allow the community to be incentivized to do that as well. So that's exciting stuff. And that's where you want to run your AI. You want your AI code stored on there. You want your AI files stored on there, so that you can have public, open, free AI backed up by the community. And you store all the text base of that on Hive, which is a free text-based layer to store on. And then you run your code off the smart contracts on VSC, which is also attached to Hive, and you'll be able to actually run genuine, legit, open, transparent AIs that are open source and collaboratively worked on. So I think that's going to be a big deal for things like the Speak Network as well. Very important application of it. While that's all been going on, we use an ecosystem called Hive, which has its own stablecoin on the base layer, and we've come to realize that it actually solves all of Bitcoin's problems, and we've been doing it for a while. So to roll it back a little bit, Bitcoin has some pretty big issues as it stands. As you know, the fees on the base layer are guaranteed to go up, and that's consensus in Bitcoin at the moment, and I think it will be forever. As the halvings happen, you're going to get more and more cuttings of the fees, and eventually there's going to be no fees. So, well, I mean, you could argue that the price of Bitcoin might go up, but that's not necessarily something I'd want to gamble on. Let's say it could go up, could go down. It's certainly still very, very volatile asset. So these whole ideas, there's things that are starting to happen now, and Bitcoiners need to have answers for them, and they don't. So it's like, is Bitcoin calming down? Is the price stabilizing? No. Are the fees going down? No. Is it becoming an international monetary unit of account? No, not yet. Maybe at some point in the future. And these are all maybes, right? Maybe the price will stabilize, like tomorrow? No. Next year? No. 10 years? Probably not. Maybe 50 years? Maybe. And then you think about how Bitcoin distributes its value to its miners only, which is a very novel idea, obviously, but it's not adequate to reward all the value creators in your ecosystem. So you've got to have this group of people that have all the Bitcoins. And then people are going to have to work for them. That doesn't seem to me to be the future that we want to build. So then in that state, and you can't argue against any of those things. You can say, oh yeah, it could be like that in the future. It could be different to that in the future. But as it currently stands, that's how it is right now. So we look at that and go, well, it's kind of hit us in the face about a year and a half ago. We started to go, oh, hold on a minute. Bitcoin is not what it was 6 years ago, 7 years ago. It's almost by design because of the way that the design changes have been made, or the things been held in place to stop it from changing. So what are the ramifications? Ramifications are high fees on the base layer, meaning that only the rich will be able to transact on the base layer, which is great for the rich. Good. If you've got Bitcoins, good for you. But it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to help back. It certainly doesn't mean it's going to bank the unbanked. That's on the base layer. That's not. I think we can all assume, stay true to that assumption. But then,
just for people who don't know, what you mean by the base layer is the basic Bitcoin blockchain. Transactions are slow and they're expensive.
Yes, correct. And it's on purpose.
Not as expensive as Ethereum.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other story. Both of those chains, we believe, have been coerced, subverted at this point.
Right.
As they currently stand. But the system doesn't realize. So you've got the base layer, which is the most stable layer. It's what Bitcoin is. It's the actual base layer of Bitcoin. And you want to clear to that if you can. You want to get on that if you can, because that's where you're secure and you're stable and it's real Bitcoin. Yep. But what they're saying to the plebs now, us plebs, is, go to layer 2, go to Lightning Network, go to Strike, right? Go to all these apps and use Lightning. And then you start to think about it and you're like, well, 99% of these apps are KYC.
Right.
So you've got to KYC your info to get in and out of these apps and use them in order to use Bitcoin with low fees on the Lightning layer 2. Well, it's like, hold on a minute, what? That wasn't what Bitcoin was supposed to be. No. It's certainly not what digital cash is supposed to be, which is what Bitcoin was supposed to be. Yep. So really, the only thing Bitcoin serves in terms of its original promise back in 2009 to 13 to 14 period, when everyone was first started using it, is for the rich. If the rich get that type of Bitcoin, right, the people can afford the base layer fees, and that's going to go up. Those fees are going to go up. So, I mean, there could be in the thousands in future. I'm pretty sure there will be. So the rich get the original Bitcoin, but no one else does. And so the layer 2's KYC mostly, and if it isn't KYC, it's like bring your own node, right? So the protocol doesn't incentivize the node operators on Lightning, which we think would solve all the problems. If Bitcoin could portion off some of the inflation to incentivize Lightning node operators, great. That's value for value. So it keeps them autonomous. It's from a neutral base layer because there was no pre-miner, no ICO. So it means that there's no way to regulate Bitcoin to control it, but there's a way to subvert it. And if they were to portion off some of the inflation, instead of going only to miners and pay some of those inflation Bitcoin to the Lightning node operators, you would have a semblance of free neutral Lightning layer until the period of time is such that the Bitcoin inflation runs out.
Yeah. Now, people don't know what Lightning is. My understanding is it's another layer on top of Bitcoin where the transactions are rerouted, bunched together, so it's a whole lot cheaper and a whole lot quicker.
Yep, exactly. But the problem with that is that people have to run their own infrastructure, and they have to therefore have business models to remain sustainable.
Right.
Whereas mining Bitcoin on the base layer, you don't need a business model. It's built into the base chain. The base chain incentivizes you.
Yep.
Right. It sends Bitcoin to your infrastructure if you're running a miner. Whereas if you're running a Lightning node for some reason, you don't get that. The chain won't pay you. So you've got to pay yourself. You've got to have your own business model. So now you've got to register a business, and you've got to register it in often pro-regulation jurisdictions, and you've got to take money off your users. which also means that a JP Morgan can come along and run a node way cheaper than you can for way longer than you can, and they'll KYC that node because they're in regulated jurisdictions. So the Lightning Network, it's not crypto. It works to a purpose. I've got nothing wrong with it works well and it's good, but it's not the premise of Bitcoin.
It's not decentralized.
It's not decentralized.
KYC, oh my God, no.
You've got to KYC on a lot of the nodes. Even if you can run a node that you don't have to KYC on, it's going to be low volume, it's going to be low throughput. You won't be able to compete against a JP Morgan or a Chase Bank that runs their node way cheaper than you can. And they're very difficult to run as well, almost on purpose. It's kind of weird. So it just doesn't fulfill Bitcoin as that, doesn't fulfill its premise. And so what Bitcoin really needs is a layer that's separate to Bitcoin that is just storing text, i.e. who got what transaction. Doesn't do any computation, doesn't do any smart contracts or anything like that. It just does text, right? And then that text layer can be used to create something of value, like some kind of communication system, like social media. And then people can stake into that token to create, to give themselves resources and free zero-fee transactions on that layer. And people haven't thought about this in crypto yet, but the idea of staking to get resources instead of paying transaction fees is a big deal. Mm-hmm. There's various chains that operate in that way. But yeah, that's what we do. We use those types of chains where you can stake to get free transactions. So now you can send currency and transactions for zero fees on large volume on a basic text layer and just store the text, right? So now you can have free speech on that text layer, which is inherently valuable. No one else has done that. Not no one else, but very few people have done and understood that in crypto. They're all still in the fee paradigm. We've got to make fees and we've got to store everything on the base layer, everything, computation, smart contracts, everything, right? So no, keep it simple on the base layer. Just text transactions with zero fees, right? So now you've got free speech and you've got accounts on the base layer that can't be deleted. And it's really lightweight. So you don't have any fat nodes, which a lot of these chains have problems with. They have heavy nodes that are expensive to run. And then you have text storage and transactions, right? So it's those two main things, text storage and transaction layer, just text on just basic stuff on a base layer, right? It can be interoperable with Bitcoin. Now, the third thing you need is a stable coin that is backed by the main token of the text layer, right? So in this case, I'm describing to you Hive. So Hive does all of those things, and it has a stable coin called HBD. And then the last thing that you need to help...
Yeah, and for people who don't know, stablecoin is, well, usually it's like priced to $1. So one HBD is always worth $1. Like one tether is always worth $1. It might go up and down a little bit by 1 or 2 cents, but generally that's the idea of a stablecoin. And USDC is always worth $1. So the HBD is always worth $1.
Yeah. The difference with USDC and USDT though is that they're run by centralized companies.
Yeah.
Right, and they've got their assets are US dollar treasuries and US banks. So it's not, again, like that's the CBDC. That's the CBDC.
Yeah.
Right there. And it's just like they're just bringing these things in, and the system's starting to realize we've captured Bitcoin, all this stuff on Ethereum and USDT and stuff. Well, that's all regulatable. So that's kind of the USD. That's kind of the CBDC by stealth. No one seems to realize this. No one's interested. But that's what's really happening. And So you need to have a stable coin that's on a base layer that has no CEO, no corporation, no foundation behind it, no venture capital on the seed round, no ICO, no pre-mine, right? That's the only way you have a neutral base layer that can't be censored. Everyone's failed at that. Everyone except for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin's a high fee base layer, so it doesn't solve the masses. It doesn't solve for the masses. So the only way that you solve for masses is by having this neutral base layer that's lightweight with a stable coin on it. So you've got its own governance token that fluctuates in price, and you've got a stable coin that backs it. Yep. It's backed by, right? And so this stable coin isn't backed by any US treasuries. It's backed by the human interactivity and the human interactions on the base layer, right? And the more people that stake, the more demand there is for the token. And the more people use the network from the social media apps that you can build on that network, the more network effects you get, the more demand you get for the token. So there's no business model that you need to register a business or run as a CEO or a founder or whatever. And the thing creates its own demand as the network effect takes hold, as people on board. And that creates an underlying demand for staking of the token to get access to more resources. So you have a sustainable model there for the token without needing to have a business or a fee system. And then you use that to back a stable coin, in this case, the Hive backed dollars. And then the last thing that you need is a bridge that allows you to pay Lightning invoices with that dollar. So Hive being a social media chain, you create content, you earn the stable coin autonomously from an autonomous non-searchable layer. And then you use those stable coins to pay for things in shops, right? Using Lightning invoices. So anywhere that takes Lightning takes Hive, right?
How does it do that? Because doesn't it use different code?
Yeah, but there's an app called V4V that sorts that out. So it just makes the payments happen instantly. And this is a phenomenon. Right? I'll share my screen in a minute.
Sure.
So you can see how many people are using this. So what you've just done is you've just paid a Lightning invoice for crypto that you've earned autonomously. You didn't have to go to an exchange to buy it. You didn't have to register a KYC anywhere. You didn't have to tell them even who you were. You just earned it from blocking in the same way that miners earn Bitcoin from creating a stable network. In this case, portion of the rewards goes to the people creating the network, and the other 75% of the rewards goes to the content creators. So the people creating content earn the stable coin from an autonomous neutral layer that can't be shut down, and then they can spend that stable coin wherever there's a Lightning invoice generator. So any shop that accepts Lightning can accept. They don't even need to know. They don't know their acceptance currency. They just give you a QR invoice, and then you scan it with an app called V4V.app, V4V.app. And that allows you to pay the Lightning invoices. So now you have a parallel economy. You really do have a parallel economy that solves all of Bitcoin's problems because the poor people can mine. They can mine the stablecoin by creating content.
Yeah.
So now they can go spend on Lightning. They can hold stable value instead of holding value that fluctuates. And there's no bank involved. There's no intermediary involved anywhere along the whole process. So it means that you have a parallel stable dollar economy with zero fees that can be sent instantly to pay Lightning invoices. So this solves the issue of Bitcoin's high fees. It really solves the issue of Bitcoin high fees, and that's why we think this is the stable coin for Lightning.
Yep. And it also solves the issue of volatility because one HBD is always, I mean, although the dollar, there's some disadvantage to being pegged to the dollar. As the dollar goes, it gets printed away and gets reduced in purchasing power.
I personally, the more I've looked at this over the years, I don't, to some extent, a little bit, but it like whenever everyone says that, and this is like the system's asking us to believe this, I think. Yeah, the value of the dollar goes down relative to product because there's more of it as the economy expands. And I don't think anyone's printing the dollar either. I don't think there's like anyone behind the scenes printing the dollar. Mm-hmm. I do think the economy expands based on collateral that's posted. But that's it if we can go into that separately. But when everyone says, oh, the dollar's going down in value, they never say, oh, but my wages went up. And when you look at like the amount of time it takes to buy a house compared to 40 years ago, it's not that much longer. It's about 30%. Based on the fact that, house prices have gone up, but salaries have gone up almost as much.
I think house prices have gone up by greater multiples than wages. But that's a whole other
agree. But it's about 30%. It's about 30. It's not like this like exponential like thing that's going on. It's about 30% more. And most of the things in society are about the same price as they were in the 70s if you base it on the current wage. And so this whole idea that there's inflation's happening because of money printing. Inflation is happening because of war and locking the world down and restricting supply. I agree, and that's kind of all part of the plan. But I don't think it's really happening because of money printing as much as what people claim. But the point is that people can hold these stable dollars outside the economy. So in places like Venezuela, this is really big because in Venezuela the currency is all over the place.
Yeah,
a bit like Bitcoin. So they don't want to hold Bitcoin and they don't want to hold their own currency. They want to hold dollars. And dollar, this is why I kind of push back on what you said there, is because I see the dollar as a unit of measure, like a meter.
Right.
I don't think that the US government is in control of the dollar. I think the banking system is in control of the dollar. And I think the banking system uses the dollar as a unit of account. And we kind of need that internationally. And I'm not advising you to save in dollars. But I mean, use it as a unit of account. It's stable. It doesn't fluctuate very much over a business period, a period that you need to do business. You can do business in a dollar and you can know that it's still worth $1. a month, 2 months later, it's not just going to suddenly collapse like many other currencies do, including most cryptocurrencies. So you need a stable unit of account there. And so here's what's happening. There's a phenomenon called spend HBD, SPEND HBD, like happy birthday, but for Hive-backed dollars instead. So spend HBD, and we're in the first stages of this, and it's going to get really cool. So basically, what spend HBD is where people are going to Lightning, places that accept Lightning or Hive, but obviously there's more places that accept Lightning. That's kind of happening organically. So it's almost like Bitcoin, this subverted system that the system loves because they've subverted it, is our liquidity layer. Thank you very much. And there's nothing they can do to stop it. It's amazing. So all these places starting to accept Lightning invoices to pay on the Lightning network, which Bitcoiners love. And then it's like, well, now we can pay stablecoins we can pay those invoices with stablecoins. So people are going to these places, and there's maps of these places. You can see where they all are, right? There's thousands of these places. And you can go and you can pay for your food or your coffee or your beer with non-KYC, non-custodial stablecoins that you've mined from blogging.
Okay, okay. Whoa. This doesn't make sense. So I'm a coffee shop and I take Lightning. You come along
You also
and
take HBD.
you pay Lightning Bitcoin using Lightning Layer, and then it lands in my wallet, right?
Yep.
And then I can do what I do with it, right? But you're also saying you could do the same thing with HBD, but when it lands in my wallet, well, what do I do? I now got HBD. I wanted Bitcoin.
No, it lands in your wallet as Lightning.
It lands in my wallet as Lightning.
If you want it to, it does, yeah.
Right. And then what can I do with that? As Lightning Bitcoin?
Yeah, Bitcoin Lightning, yeah.
Oh.
That's why it's the stablecoin for Lightning Network. It works. And I'm going to show you thousands of videos of people doing this right now after we have this chat.
Okay.
So it's like, hopefully we'll be able to share screens and show it to the audience.
Sure, you want to share.
But it's a non-custodial stablecoin with no KYC outside the system that you mine from blogging, right? So now people are starting to go, okay, if I go and blog the fact I'm spending this, I can mine more of it.
Yes.
Right. So, you've been on Hive for a while. You know how it works. So imagine you go to your coffee shop and you buy a coffee with a Lightning invoice. You get your colleague or friend or family member to film you doing that. So you see the QR code being scanned and the payment being made with this HBD. You post that on Hive. The community's going to vote you like crazy. And more often than not, you earn more, you mine more back than you spent.
That's amazing.
And
okay.
You just repeat.
Okay. No, I must have missed something, Matt. So where does the Bitcoin come that backs the HBD?
HBD isn't backed by Bitcoin. HBD is backed by Hive backed dollars.
Hive backed dollars. But yeah. I'm the retailer. You've paid me with HBD over Lightning, and Bitcoin lands in my wallet. Where did that Bitcoin come from?
No, Lightning will land in your wallet, and then you transfer the Lightning into Bitcoin in your own time. A lot of apps do it for you automatically as well.
Okay, so wait a minute. Lightning is a different cryptocurrency to Bitcoin?
No, Lightning's Bitcoin. It's valued in Bitcoin, but it's just a transfer layer for Bitcoin. Lightning basically works by having a layer 2 on top of Bitcoin, and it says, if I've got Satoshis locked in my node, and you've got Satoshis in your node, we can both declare that we're going to do business.
Right.
And then we can do business to the amount that's on both of our nodes. So like if I've got 1 Bitcoin, you've got 1 Bitcoin, we can keep doing transactions up to 1 Bitcoin.
Right.
But we don't actually have to clear that to the Bitcoin network every single time until we're ready, until we clear.
Okay.
We just agree when that is.
Okay. So then I can go and take that payment and I'll get Bitcoin, put it onto the Bitcoin network, and I get Bitcoin.
Yeah, correct.
Wow.
And the beauty of this cycle as well, as we explain this to people and show them how they can just send it to a wallet of Satoshi, or they can send it to a Moon wallet. Bitcoin is real to them at this point. Last cycle, Bitcoin wasn't real. It was still, maybe it's funny money. This cycle is like, everyone knows Bitcoin's real. And so you can actually use the system to clear out. So Bitcoin's really our liquidity layer. That's basically what it's become for us. It's also justifiable as a store of value. I think that makes sense still. But it's nothing else. It's a liquidity layer and store of value. It's certainly not money. Certainly not going to provide the full spectrum of digital freedom that we require to fight these wars against these people who are trying to take our freedom away.
Yep.
But once you've got a stable dollar, so the beauty of this is it's a stable dollar. We're using their dollar against them. It's their unit of value that they created, and we just said, oh, we'd like that unit of value too. We're going to back it with crypto that's socially backed. So the more social interactions, the more stable that crypto is, basically. And people are incentivized to be social on that. And then we're going to use it to create a parallel economy that they can't shut down. And we're going to use it, and we're going to spend on their Bitcoin system that they subverted. It's just so beautiful.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
Very good.
So I'm very excited.
Yes. Now this is run for, like, if I post stuff on 3SPEAK.
Yeah, anything you post to Hive is part of this system. You just have to tag it with Spend HBD, or tag it to the Spend or post it to the Spend HBD community.
Right.
So shall I share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
So let me see how I share screen. Share that one. Should be okay, I think. Share. Can you see that?
Yes.
So this is on a site called spendhbd.social.gifts.
Okay.
Right. Let me just move this out of the way so I see. Okay. So I've clicked on this one first. This is basically the trending feed, right? It's everyone posting Spend HBD and receiving rewards for it. So the first couple haven't been rewarded yet. We're always a couple of hours behind. And this is just the community rewarding the content by voting. So the more votes you get, the more content you mine to your blog. But yeah, these are all videos of people spending HBD. And I'll click on a couple in a second to show you, but you see they're mining. Like, they're only spending, say, $5 to $10 on basic things, just simple shopping or coffees. But and by the way, this is a lot of women. A lot of women use this because women are the ones that spend.
Yep.
They go out and spend the money. And so we're actually onboarding hundreds and hundreds of women to crypto. And they love it because it's content, it's shopping, they're spending, they're receiving money back. So it's like they're finding a deal,
Yep.
And you see the monetary values on these blogs here. They're mining enough crypto back to cover the purchase and more. So let me click on a couple of videos here. I literally don't know what these videos look like. There's so many of them. This one mined $116. Let's make this a bit bigger. Can you hear it?
No.
Okay, well, I'll talk over it. That's actually me. I know this video. That's actually me in the background. This was in Mexico City the other day.
Yeah.
But he's buying a pizza. This is a Cuban. This is a Cuban, right? They can't even get money out of the country, right? And he's buying. He uses this to travel and spend to buy pay Lightning invoices. And I'll just fast forward a little bit. So you just had these pizzas, and you'll see the system working here. So the lady's about to show him the Lightning invoice. That is a Lightning invoice right there.
Right.
That is a Lightning invoice. And she just puts her details in, how much Mexican pesos in that case she wanted. And then he will use his V4V app and he'll set it to Lightning Scanner. There you go. It's scanned it already. He presses HBD to spend, which is mine from making crypto. He's never bought it.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly never had to pay provide any KYC details for it.
Yep.
It clears.
Yep.
The payment's made and the Lightning invoice should clear any second. There you go.
That's
Zero fees, KYC, stablecoin that's completely outside the economic system. And it allows normal people like him to use Lightning instead of having to pay Bitcoin fees. Let's have a look. I certainly don't know who this is, but let's have a look. He's mined $36 to this. I mean, you can imagine the last video, the guy spent something like $24, $25 on the pizzas, and he mined $114 to his blog, right? So he's making money doing this. He's making money by spending. It's insane, but it's crypto.
Yes, crypto's a little bit like that. And HBD, because on Hive is very fast, but Lightning is very, very fast. So
yeah, Lightning's fast as well. It's fast and basically feeless.
Yeah.
But the nodes do charge a little bit of money to make their business models work, which we don't agree with. We think the nodes should be free. Well, by the way, HBD on the base layer is free, right? So there's a scan. That's him. It's like $5. I don't know if you can see that there, but it's about $5 he's paying. And it should clear fairly quickly. There you go. There's the payment made. There's about a 4 or 5 second wait, and it was zero fees paid for content blogging mined currency that's out of the system.
Fabulous.
And there are literally thousands of people doing this all over the world now.
That is,
and it just goes on and on and on. And it's let me see if we can just do one more example. I'll just take this one.
She made $21.29.
You made $21. Let's see what her purchase was. Lovely lady. Starting to learn about this in places like Venezuela, where it's, it's they're hard. These people are hard up. It's not easy economic situation there, especially with the currency volatility. They kind of got to spend the money as quickly as they can, or get it out into stable coins. But they have to KYC if they want to use USDT, right? If they want to use any other USDC, it's got to be all done through KYC systems. Well, this is earn it yourself. Don't buy it, earn it by blogging, right? That's the key. That's how you know this isn't a scam, because you earn it. They have spent $3.80, $3.80. 83. There's the payment being made. So there's proof that she's done the payment. And then let's see how much she mined to her blog. She mined $21, right? So she like, I don't know, what's that? 700% return.
It's not too shabby.
She loves it.
It's not
She
too
loves
shabby.
it.
That is great.
It just goes.
If people want to find out, what should they do if they want to get involved with 3SPEAK or HBD?
Yeah, I mean, you can go to sites like 3SPEAK or PeakD here, peakd.com.
Right.
And you can go to the tag spend HBD. You see it's trending/spend HBD, and this is where all the content is. And you can upload the content from here. You can also use excency.com. Let me see if this doesn't break it. Give me a sec. Yeah, so Excency also has its own version, and on Excency you can upload videos now. So you can do the whole thing here as well. This is a cool site, excency.com. It's trending spend HBD. And you can see people, I mean, this is me helping someone on board. But these, again, are all people you can see how much money they're mining. They're doing small petty purchases, but they're mining, I mean, this guy mined $5, but it probably covered the majority of his costs. This lady mined $17. Let's see what she did for her blog. I honestly don't know half of these people, and I don't know what's going to be in their blog when I click on it here, but I know that it works. There's people doing this. So these are products that she's buying. And she didn't even do a video. She just did a photo blog, right?
Yeah.
She spent $3.50 on the products. And you can go and verify these transactions on the chain. And she mined $17.
Wow.
And there's people going, congratulations there. This is real. This is real stuff. And I'm just blown away by it that people are starting to catch on. And so why is it valuable? So Bitcoin works in the same way. It mines cryptocurrencies to people for creating a network, right? Oh, you create a network. Now we can use it. So we're going to distribute cryptocurrency from a neutral layer to you. This distributes cryptocurrency to people for creating content. But this specific content is really valuable because it's attached to a financial transaction. So there's economic productivity being documented here. Right? That in itself is inherently valuable. And then all parties win. So the business wins because, as you can see, I'm going to share screens again. The business wins because they get a ton of content. Let me go back to this site. Oh, no, I don't want to annotate. I want to go to that. So if I go to business directory and click on, say, Venezuela, and click on any business, the business gets added to chain. So it becomes like a business on chain, right, with all the information about it. So they're like approved businesses where local people go and verify that the business is real, so we can't get scammed, right? Yeah. And then all the content that's made against that business gets posted underneath the business. So these are all the people in the last couple of days who have spent at this business. That's good content for the business. That business can't get that content unless its clients are making it, And then at the same time, its best clients are now getting rewarded for spending there. The business doesn't have to put any money in. It doesn't have to do anything. All it has to do is accept HBD or accept Lightning. And so it's just a benefit for everyone. Everyone wins.
Yep.
And then the currency wins because everyone's like, why are you giving currency away? Why are you giving free currency away? And it's like, well, we're not really. The chain's distributing money. And yeah, okay, you could argue, that your human instinct is to hold it and keep on to the money. Oh, no, we've got to hold the money. But if you distribute it via inflation, you're not really losing your own money, but you are inflating the supply. And the inflation is currently 8.5%, and it goes down every year. It might be 7.5% at this point. But it's got an algorithmic deflation programmed into it that finishes at 0.5% in about 9 years from now. And it stays there. So that's how you get the free fees, because you can fund it. You can fund the fee system via inflation. You don't need to have an excessive inflation to do that. We don't believe in a capped supply. Bitcoin's a cool store of value because it's got a capped supply, but that gives it a load of other problems that don't help it solve everyone else's digital problems. But this combined with Bitcoin, this stable coin combined with Bitcoin, it gives everyone digital rights, everyone on the planet. So we actually have that when you look at it that way, we've solved the digital rights issue. You can communicate, you can post with an account that's owned on a layer that's outside of the platforms. You can spend stablecoin value with 0 fees in 3 seconds and pay for any Lightning invoice anywhere in the world. That means now you've got the right to transact and actually spend and actually use this stuff. And there's actually people using it. You can build community on this system, on this text-based layer. You can build economies on top of those communities. Those are all digital human rights now that we didn't have before. And the state is actively trying to take away from us. So it just is a complete buffer and barrier to the whole system and what it's trying to do. And combined with Bitcoin, it solves everyone's digital rights issues. And then, of course, it's valuable because for us as a community, we want to distribute this token. We want to distribute it everywhere. We want to see everyone using it. So the more we vote and mine new inflation to people's blogs, the more valuable that is for us. And we're not stupid. We don't have like some runaway inflationary model. We're not, we believe that effectively it's like the Keynesian versus this Austrian economic debate. If you want Austrian economics, you've got to have a high fee base layer, cap supply, good for deflationary savings. Okay, great, but that's about all it's going to do. Whereas when you have an inflation, you can have a 0 fee stable coin that, as long as the inflation is less, as long as the inflation is less than the economic product being created by that community, by that tool, you have a sustainable economy. And so that's what we're demonstrating here. We're demonstrating economic products because people are spending and blogging about it and then earning more of the inflation from that system. And as time goes on, you just keep it. People will spend most of what they get, but there's going to be residual left over in people's wallets over time. You can see there that some people are spending 3 and getting 15. It's not going to go on like that forever. That's not obviously not everyone in the whole world can get 700% return off their purchases. But if this gets general adoption, it'll probably you might get 10% or 20% back off your purchase, but every purchase that you make via a Lightning invoice. So it's like that's economic products.
Yep, they can always post more social media and stuff and do it that way and get involved and the word spreads. That is fabulous. And
it's fabulous, man. And so many people have been helped by it, Rich. Poor people that struggle with their shopping are using this, and you can see them in these videos and they're actually getting their money back. And we're winning because the community, well, I say we as the community are winning because we're distributing our currency to these people and they're using it. And it's proven to work. It works. I don't know if you've ever sent a Hive transaction, but it takes 3 seconds. It's got 0 fees attached to it for $1 million, even if you're on the other side of the world.
Yep, which is very, very fast and very, very cheap. And it's fully decentralized, which I like very much.
Non-custodial. This is, we've got into this game because it's freedom. It's freedom tools. That's what it was for. We're not here to pump the bags and make money. We're here to provide people with freedom tools, and that's what this system does. After what is it? We've been in this for 15 years in terms of the crypto community, and here we are with Bitcoin saying it's the solution when it's not. It is part of the solution, but it's not everything. It's certainly the solution for the elites that can afford the fees on the base layer. But then you talk to a Bitcoin maxi. What do you believe in free speech? Yeah, we believe in free speech. It's a pillar of freedom. Well, do you believe that free speech should be free or it should be paid? It's like, it should be free, and it's like, well, on Bitcoin you have to pay the fee to post your free speech thoughts to the base layer. And they're like, oh, and you're like, yeah, it's a bitch, isn't it? Well, you need to have a feeless transaction layer, feeless text storage layer that specializes in text storage in order to be able to do that. And that's what Hive provides, and HBD provides that. Yes.
Thank you, Matt. Matt, anything you can say before we finish up? Anything we haven't covered that you think is important?
I mean, there's loads of things going on, like really loads of things. We've got tokenized communities now, so you can spin up your own front end. You can go to breakaway.community, and that's a site where even stupid people like us, Rich, can spin up front ends and make our own universe on the blockchain, Web3 enabled, with no CEO, no pre-mine. You run your own server, you run your own URL, and then all the rest of it is a platform for your users to post to and be rewarded from. And then in the near future, we'll add tokens to those as well. So it's going to go crazy. Like all these tokenized communities that are making their own meme coins right now, we're just going to make front ends for them.
That's amazing.
So they're going to have their own front end that's outside the system, that can't be shut down, where they own their accounts, they can post to. We may even cut the pre-mines out of some of them because we don't agree with pre-mines. So the community actually owns these tokens, you know, instead of it being some centralized party, VC-backed party. And they're going to be able to earn, we'll airdrop to people based on the amount of these meme tokens they've got. You know, it's going to be so cool, and it's going to scale quick. You know, give us a few months. We've still got to do a few more sign-in issues, but the actual platforms are working now, and you know, you can get one for yourself easily, and so can many other people. And there's quite a few of them running now. So it's just super cool to start seeing this tech actually really start to take hold and with real use and real application, instead of what we've been talking about it for 9 years. Well, we've been building it for 9 years, you know, but it's always been abstract conversation, whereas now we're in the place where we can actually demonstrate this stuff, as we showed you with Spend HBD. It's just one of the spin-offs of this. The other thing that I think is really cool that's coming fairly soon is we're taking Spend HBD to a different level. And I don't know how much time you've got to go into the technicals of this, but it's an app that you download on your phone, and it's a QR code scanner, just like you saw people using, except as soon as you scan the QR code, it asks you for 3 photos of the purchase. So you just take a photo of the product, a photo of the place, and a photo maybe of you with the cashier, I don't know, right? Upload those photos, and then it instantly pays you back the amount of money that you paid for the purchase.
Wow. Where did you get that money from?
It comes from the chain. So it basically, at the moment, Spend HBD.
Oh, hold on. When is that launching?
I don't know exactly. It's in the initial development phase right now, so it'll be a few weeks, maybe months.
You did warn me, Matt. You did warn me before we started recording that there's so much we could talk about, right?
Yeah, I mean,
we're gonna have to come back for that, because
I wanted to drop it to you because I do want to come. I want to come back and show it to you.
Of course, you can invite yourself on. Don't make me chase you across the world.
No, I appreciate that. But that's what this technology can do. It really can. Because once you've done the QR code scan and sent the money for the payment, you can see how much that was on chain, and you can see which account it went from and which account it went to. So you know it's a legit business it's going to, because that business will be like registered on the ecosystem, and there'll be people checking to make sure it is actually a real business. And then you know the account it's sent from, and you know how much they spent. So now you can have a pool of stable coins over here that we control, and we can just send them the amount of the purchase instantly. And then those 3 photos in the background go on a blog that the user doesn't even need to know, right? And then then that blog gets upvoted by our accounts, which mines crypto to the blog, and then the beneficiaries of that can be sent to our account 7 days later when the blog clears. All that can happen in the background, right? So it means that we can literally document a purchase, see how much money went, send the exact amount that they spent back to their account instantly. And the user's experience will just be, I scanned the QR code, I pressed OK, and I got some money back.
Wow.
And it's liquid stable coins outside the ecosystem. And that's what we need to do. We need to have clever ways of distributing these stable coins. That's what needs to happen. They need distribution. And that's what, if it's linked to an economic transaction, that's a legitimate way to distribute stable coins to people. So this is coming, man. Like, this tech's going to get crazy rich. You have to change your name from Crypto Rich to Crazy Rich.
Oh my God. Crazy Crypto Rich. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate it. And we will have to speak again soon. You know, please do reach out to me. Anybody who's watching, please subscribe, follow, and I'll have the links in the description below. And between now and I see you next, please keep filling your pockets with decentralized profits. This is Crazy Crypto Rich and Crazy Crypto Matt signing out. All the best. Bye-bye.
Cheers. See you, Rich.